A Merry Christmas, Uncle Ebenezer. God save you.
God save me from Christmas. It's a lot of humbug.
We all know we've been getting scrooged. We paid so much in tolls last year, the Harris County Toll Road Authority had $250 million in surplus revenue left over.
A never-ending symphony of villainy and infamy.
Are they using the money to pay off the toll roads? Because it's logical to do that? No. Are they lowering the tolls because that would be good for you? No. The state legislature allowed local politicians to give themselves the money to spend.
It's not fair. It's
diabolical.
Since the money has started flowing to them, county commissioners have ignored huge red flags at Hectra, extravagant spending and the hiring of temporary workers, phone operators, license plate image readers.
You're so stupid. He's always been stupid.
There are now major developments in this investigation. After a fight, we finally have the government records and we can prove you've been fleeced. And it looks like our work may help end this toll road fleece job in the new year.
Quite a powerful speaker, sir. I wonder you don't go into politics. You're fool enough.
We don't want to ruin the holiday, but it may be time for another chat with this guy, the head of the toll road being paid a staggering $485,000 a year.
Nobody's so good that they deserve a 40% salary increase overnight.
God knows they cost more than they're worth.
Because it feels insanely icky.
Last Halloween, we began to show you how you were getting tricked by the toll road. Harris County already had a contract to provide temporary workers to all departments, but the folks at the toll road, they wanted their own special deals with their special contractors. Emails claimed they wanted to be more generous than the rest of the county, even though staffing companies had already agreed to a price. Hectra requires a higher level of service, they claimed, and would like to be able to pay more competitive salaries. They called it, quote, wiggle room. I'm Wendell Chafino. I'm working on a story about how the Toll Road Authority has $250 million in surplus revenue. And I'm wondering, why don't we lower the tolls? Do you know?
May I place you on a brief hold?
Sure. I'm not surprised that toll road call center operator didn't have an answer for me, but she is paid to answer the phone there at one of 3 Hectra call centers. Hectra spends $12,500 every month just to lease space at the nonprofit Baker Ripley House.
What reason have you got to be miserable? You're rich enough.
Boy, those folks at Baker Ripley get our money in so many different ways. Under the county-wide contract, vendors providing call center operators at the toll road were going to get paid $17.85 an hour. The employee, of course, would get a few dollars less in actual pay.
There is no such thing as rich enough, only poor enough.
Electronic Transaction Consultants is one of the toll road's biggest vendors. Since January of 21, the company has billed toll road customers almost $47 million. They also provide temporary call center operators. One, the nation's largest minority-owned company, ChaseSource of Houston. It's run by attorney Tony Chase, who chaired the county COVID relief fund too. Well connected in Houston politics, his company has cashed in on the toll road largesse, $5.2 million between June of 22 and October of this year. Then there's a woman-owned Hispanic company called Employment and Training Centers. Irma and Roberto Gonzalez started it. They even have their own day in the city. They specialize, they say, in bilingual workers. That ETC has already been paid $6.5 million by the toll road since June of 22. Let's take a closer look, shall we, at one of the invoices for these temporary workers. August 2022. Look at the total for just one single month. Nearly $1.1 million in temporary workers. Examine how much they're billing for CSRs, those customer service reps, the ones we would be paying less than $18 to if we followed the county-wide contract. Those companies, they're billing for those same workers at a staggering $38 an hour. Let's go to the Dolcefino Media chalkboard, shall we? That's at least $20 an hour per employee more. This one invoice, 192 call center operators over a year. That means we're paying almost $8 million more than we had to. Our crack investigators then reached out to workers on that invoice to see if they shared in the toll road's absurd generosity, and they weren't happy.
Oh, wow. That's a lot. That they should have paid us more.
Yeah, when I worked for ETC, I was paid $15 an hour.
This guy was paid $15 an hour by employment and training centers, while they turned around and charged you $38 an hour for his time, a 150% markup. Typical staffing companies add usually about 30% of the price over what they're making.
Oh, wow. And so I was just getting paid and they were taking the balance.
He's now a full-time Hectra employee.
Yeah, I make $20.54.
So let me get this straight. The whole point of temporary workers, they told us, was to make government cheaper, not more expensive. What idiot at the toll road thought it made sense to pay these staffing companies so much more? Smells, doesn't it?
Yeah, I definitely wasn't making nowhere near $32. If I was, I definitely would have stayed there.
We don't know what this call center manager was actually being paid by JSource, but look at what the toll road paid to this customer service manager, $110 an hour. That's $215,000 a year, a lack of accountability that's been actually allowed by the county purchasing department. In this email, Assistant Purchasing Director Juanita Patterson told ETC they may elect to pass their 4% annual increase to their employees or continue to add to their bottom line. It's an email like that that gives rise to this incredible waste of money. Why do we care about enriching the companies instead of the employees? One single department at the toll road even wanted its own staffing contract, bragging they keep the lights on at Hectra. Actually, you keep the lights on. Look at the email. It says, quote, the relationship that group has with the vendors will be vital. The companies chosen, JSource and ETC, the same two companies we've now busted, being allowed by the toll road to charge ridiculous markups for temporary workers. Do you care about the price of these staffing employees? Does price not matter to you guys? Why should the toll boss Roberto Trevino care? He got a 40% raise this year. Precinct 3 Commissioner Tom Ramsey's office has now requested a comprehensive review by the county auditor into excessive markup and transparency issues. These practices may not only be financially imprudent, but also fail to meet the transparency and fairness expected in county contracts. The district attorney's office has now been notified of the billing markup.
Well, I think it's shocking that you've got a system that has really no accountability, effectively. That's what's really wrong here.
That lack of accountability was glaring in the most recent Hectra staffing contract approved just months ago. Price was only going to be 25% of the scoring to decide who got the deal. In the end, the lowest price was simply ignored, and that allowed the toll road to funnel more money over to ETC. Hectra has even refused to show us their contract with ETC because ETC doesn't want you to see it. Too bad. State lawmakers were livid.
Harris County's abuse of the people's money and resources must be stopped.
But Harris County commissioners were silent then. They directly benefit from the toll road surplus produced last year. In 2019, that surplus was $125 million. This year, it skyrocketed to $250 million. State law says that money has to be used for road projects across the county, but these few words at the end of that state law, quote, or related projects, has opened up the toll road surplus money for all kinds of other stuff. Precinct 1 Commissioner Rodney Ellis spent 42% of his total budget with toll road money. We now have a list of who got the money, but we're just beginning to look at it. These are parks projects in Acres Homes, Ellis is spending up to $11 million in toll road money here. Sure, it will have a hike and bike trail, but that's hardly a road project. The auditor raised questions about this spending years ago, but the county attorney said it was okay. The county attorney now gets to spend that toll road money too for salaries.
What outrages the public is that they pay a toll and $250 million, $250 million in Harris County doesn't even go for the toll roads that they're driving on right now.
We've allowed this thing to become a slush fund. This is what's wrong with this country, right? His government is arrogant and it's greedy with a state law that holds no one accountable.
The law also says that the state has no oversight of it, the state can't audit it.
Former Mayor Bill King has tried to unravel where the money is actually going.
And it's ridiculous to have this amount of money with this little transparency on what's happening to money.
The toll road still has $7 to $8 billion in debt. So why isn't the money being used to pay off the toll roads? Or maybe this is one of those perpetual taxes that will last to the end of time.
You're not using the money for transportation projects. That's what's going to really make people unhappy, and they should be.
Senator Paul Bettencourt says he'll introduce legislation in the 25 session to crack down on the use of toll road surplus funds. The roads may be owned by Harris County, but the land, it's state-owned.
So one of the bills I'm planning on filing is that you can have a state audit
to require the money be spent paying off the roads, or, lowering the tolls.
If you don't lower the fees and you don't pay off the debt and you have effectively some type of unaccountable, fund that's not auditable, yeah, there's a very good chance people are getting ripped off. But we don't even know because we can't even audit the fund.
The staffing scandal at Hectra may produce new state procurement laws too. They call for best value for taxpayers. Paying a company $38 an hour so they can pay $15 and their executives can get rich is hardly that.
Pleasure and squandering money.
I'm going to be looking at best practices around the country because unless you have a standard that you can measure against, so what gets measured gets fixed, all of this is open loop and it's subject to fraud.
Merry Christmas!
God bless us.
God bless us, everyone.